So I've seen the last 2 episodes of the OG Fionna and Cake episodes in Adventure Time, and those episodes were okay to say the least. The first one was a Grable spinoff called 5 Short Tables, because it was Ice King doing his own version of that, talking about different stories that are happening within the world of Fionna and Cake. And normally throughout most of these stories, all of them are supposed to have some sort of similarities between them. The first one was like the 5 senses or something. I don't remember what the second one was about, but this one, the similarities were they all had tables in them. Which is very Ice King that it'd be something very random like that, so I don't have any like qualms with it. I think one of the funnier things about this episode was that the Ice Queen was also telling a story about a fanfiction she made of Fionna and Cake called Flynn and Jacques, where in that story the Ice President was telling Flynn and Jacques a story about 2 people named Lynn and Janet. It goes down a rabbit hole and it goes to make you question, do they also have different dimensions within them, or are they actually fanfictions? What's going on here? I think we should have visited those worlds in Fionna and Cake so we definitely knew for sure if they were real or not. I think the episode of Fionna and Cake that everybody wanted people to look at were Fionna and Cake and Fionna, which in this episode was to have a weird plot twist that Fiona's real the entire time. She's this old lady now in the land of Ooh, and Ice King's trying to talk to her. Finn made a comment towards her, wanted to ask so many questions, but Ice King didn't let anybody ask her questions. He wanted her full attention, and he got her full attention. But things started to get weird because it seemed like she was avoiding some questions. It seemed like she didn't want to show everybody her full tape that she recorded of Fionna and Cake. It started to seem very weird. She kept asking Ice King, does he have some Fionna and Cake tapes? What's going on here? When Ice King let her move in, she had no problem making herself at home, throwing away his toothbrush and everything, and sleeping on his couch, claiming the room as hers. And Ice King also had no problem with it. He was able to sneak and look at the rest of the VHS tape, and the tape was about a mummy coming into Fionna and Cake's world, and it ended up being the Queen of Ooh. She had this valuable lesson: don't let strange people live in your place. So Ice King's suspicion is she's a mummy, and no, she's not. She's just this random old lady thing who had a fascination, and somehow with the help of satellite stuff was able to get a signal of Fionna and Cake adventure, and she watched that one singular adventure over 100 times until the point where dressing up as Fionna gave her confidence in this world. She was able to no longer be shy. She now feels as if she is Fionna. Then Ice King shot her down super immediately. Fionna would never do this. You son of a bitch. Fionna would never lie. She's always been a hero, and that broke her heart. She cried and left. I think the interesting part about this episode specifically is that when they asked Ice King, how does he come up with all these Fionna and Cake stories? He says, it's beating him to my head at night just like everybody else, duh. And they show that on the last scene of this episode where he's sleeping and the adventures of Fionna and Cake is literally beamed into his head, which obviously we know to be Prisma doing that from the Fionna and Cake series, where he, I guess, created Fionna and Cake, or maybe his was inspired by Ice King's stories, and his later stories were then inspired by the adventures that are going on in his head. I'm not really sure. And I also think around the time this has happened, these last 2 episodes that have happened, because they're in seasons 8 and 9, Adventure Time is wrapping up. I think the writers may have known that this was an alternate reality at this point, where it's a real dimension and Prisma was doing this and stuff. I think they might have known at this point, but early on they 100% did not know. I think that's a fact. At the end of the day, I think that's why I like Adventure Time, because it's so lore heavy that they don't answer a lot of questions about what's going on, and they could leave that for future series to be had, like Fionna and Cake, like Shermie and Beth, which everybody wants to see more of Shermie and Beth. Please give us more Shermie and Beth. But there's so many options for so many different stories that Adventure Time could go on forever, and this is one of the examples of that, where they may have teased that they knew the story since at least season 9, and we finally got to see that come into more of a fruition with the Fionna and Cake series we got today, and that's pretty cool if you ask me. With that being said, what are your opinions on these last 2 episodes of Fionna and Cake, OG Fionna and Cake? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. I love Adventure Time. I might do some more episodes of Adventure Time. I might go and do some other stuff beforehand, but who knows. And with that being said, I'll see each and every one of you around next time. Okay. Goodbye.